How did I develop healthy relationships since not gambling? And then I guess technically since not drinking. So I have, I've been gamble free for over 4 years. And in that time, I've only been in one real relationship. And I do not recommend what I'm about to say. I met him while I was in treatment. And that's not the way to kick off a relationship. I am of the 12-step principles that you probably shouldn't get involved, especially in a new romantic relationship, until after a year of recovery. I actually believe probably closer to 2 years, honestly, because there's so much personal development and growth and soul searching that I believe needs to happen in order to be a good partner. And as we come out of addiction, we're figuring out how to show up for ourselves. So how can we possibly show up for another person in the way that a loving, healthy relationship should be? Now, as far as healthy relationships like friendships or family, those kinds of things, those take work. And one of the methods that I've used has to do with, this is part of why I still go to meetings, right? I go to meetings and I still work with my counselor and I'm still very active in my recovery, because if we're not in the right kind of relationships, they can be draining and sometimes we can't control them. So instead of trying to control other people, I stay really close to my work on self-care and talking things out in recovery groups and just trying to stay strong so that when I come in contact with the people I can't control seeing, even if I get depleted, it's very easy to recharge my batteries because I have so much like recovery stuff building up. I've also severed or at least let some relationships fade away. I've been pretty fortunate that people that I've gambled with, people that I've partied with, most of those people were true friends and they support me in my recovery as much as they supported me in my addiction. So I'm able to keep those relationships. I'm able to be honest and candid and go out and maybe not drink or not gamble. Now, I wouldn't put myself like in a casino or go to bingo with one of my old bingo buddies. However, we can talk about it and people are proud of me for not doing whatever the things are. I had a friend actually tell me yesterday, not that they would be mad at me for going back to gambling, but they hope I don't. They would be disappointed. And the same thing with drinking. Even though I used to drink with this person all the time, they said that they would be disappointed if I went back to drinking. So the moral of the story is, have those kind of people in your lives that will love and support you, whether you're screwing up or you're doing good. And get rid of the ones that don't. And I'm not saying that's going to be easy, but I will tell you that once you start cleaning up your surroundings and having healthier relationships, the kinds where you can say, hey, I can't speak today. Another example, recently we had a death in the family. We had a whole lot of stress stuff going on. And my friends would send text messages and I could write back or send notes like, hey, I don't want to talk today. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to be miserable or whatever. I want to hide out. I don't want to deal with people. And they didn't take offense to that. They're not telling themselves crazy stories in their heads like unhealthy people or unhealthy practices might be. I still have those stories run through my head from time to time, but in this case, they knew it wasn't a personal thing. I just needed my space. Those are the people that we need to be in relationships with. And again, I will not suggest falling in love in rehab or treatment, or even looking. I wasn't looking, but I also believe that my recovery has been supported by this person, and we're 4 years later still trying to navigate what a healthy relationship looks like, even with both of us in recovery, because we did recovery 2 different ways. we are learning about ourselves and what our values are individually still over 4 years later, and we're changing and growing. And we know that in order to be in a healthy relationship, we need to go through these processes and to take care of ourselves so we could be good partners. So I would keep that in mind if you're thinking about being involved. I know it's easier, or maybe it helps fill the boredom or the voids when you try to give up whatever the addiction is, to have someone there, but it's almost like a trade-off in some cases. And I think that really learning how to love ourselves first is the key to any healthy relationship.